Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the second installment so far this year of the Neuroscience of Stress and Wellness series. This talk will be about the neuroscience of habit formation. So right about now, in terms of the research, our New Year's resolutions, if we have made them, start to wax and wane. So I thought I would do this. I would share the knowledge or my knowledge on this if you are in this position. And hi, Nikki. And so we will get started. I think it's, let's see what time it is. Yeah, so we can get started. As always, any questions, pop them in the chat and we'll get to them in the end. If anything comes up, just pop it in the chat and then we can go through things together. I will have some time at the end for Q&A and we can make it as interactive as you guys want. So thank you for setting this time aside. Remember, this is your time and potentially some of this knowledge can be transformative. So as I always say at the beginning of these webinars is put distractions aside. I know more than probably anyone else, when you're trying to do too many things, we think we are multitasking, when in fact we are just fracturing our attention. So we are not doing one thing right. So think about what it is that you want to get out of this session. Why have you turned up? What is it that you want answered? It may be just, I just want to learn about it, which is absolutely fine, but set your intention. That will focus your brain. It will trigger your reticular activating system and seek out the answer that you're looking for. So as a reminder, please, everybody mute yourselves if you're not already muted, and let's get started. So why haven't my resolutions stuck? Let's try to find the answers. So as always, for those who don't know me, I will briefly introduce myself, and as always, set your intention for this session. We will be going through resolutions themselves. We will be going through the neuroscience of habit formation and then a kind of a roadmap to general stress management and resiliency training, and then also how to approach our resolutions. If you want to make things stick a little bit more, grab a pen and paper, have it ready by your side. I always, even though I prepare these webinars, things come. And so it's always worth having pen and paper, because I find that personally, when I'm consuming knowledge, when I'm learning, there's a momentum, I love this stuff. So there's a kind of there's an excitement, there's a momentum. And if there's something that I want to implement or something that I want to do, if I leave this scene, right, where I'm kind of a bit psyched up, I'm pumped up, I'm excited, I don't tend to do it later. So if you have an aha moment, a moment of insight or something, or you think, you know what, I'm going to change the way I look at resolutions or goal setting, take action before you leave this webinar, please, because generally the momentum then drops a little bit. Okay, so for those who don't know me, my name is Dr. Safia Dabar. I am a GP, I'm a doctor in London. I also have a special interest in neuroscience, in stress management and resiliency training. I certified at Harvard to run their SMART course, which is stress management and resiliency training. And it really has become a cornerstone of my medical practice. I've done hospital medicine, academic medicine, research, public health masters. And really, this knowledge has enabled me really to see my patients as a whole being and to address every single part. So it's not purely physical or a very traditional medical model that I use. It's very integrative, holistic, and stress management is really one of the big pillars. And this is why I run these webinars, because I believe that everybody should have a basic understanding of their neuroscience so that they are able to leverage. You leverage your mind, you leverage your body, you leverage your emotion. You know, you are using, you're well equipped. You know, we all have phones. Those who are clever amongst us, or strategic rather, will sit down and get to know our phone, so you can, or your laptop or whatever, so you can use it effectively, strategically, in the best way, as opposed to me, who could just pick up my phone and I start using it. There's a difference when you really gain a basic understanding of how you are meant to function. And so stress management, when done well, will reduce inflammation, will reduce disease burden, will improve our experience of life. So this is why I do what I do. Okay, so, oh, and I have a poll for you guys. So this is going to be about New Year's resolutions. Now, I love New Year's resolutions. I just think they're just full of hope and optimism, and it's a really nice time to reflect and, you know, just kind of reassess. And I just, yeah, I really like them. But all research shows that I think it's like 50% of people will make resolutions, and very few, when you survey, when you have a look 6 months down the line, even 3 weeks down the line, it all starts to go down. Why? So any thoughts, just pop them in the comments. But New Year's resolutions, well, it's a wave of motivation, you know, it's kind of new year, new me, and new beginnings. It's societal, it's cultural. As I said, there's a hope, there's optimism. It's kind of a fresh start. And it may mean, you know, this year, I'm finally going to let this go behind me, or I'm finally going to address this, or whatever it may be. Is any of this resonating? And I've lost my mouse. Anyway. Right. So let me attempt. Yes, exactly. So let me just, okay. I have lost my mouse, guys, and I cannot. Let me just try and do this. Okay, just a moment, and I'm gonna, we can do this later, actually. We can do it later. Who has set resolutions for this year? And who has managed to keep them? Okay, right, we'll get to the comments in a second. Why do we do them? Why do we do them? Why make resolutions? Well, it's a vehicle. Oh, I haven't launched the poll, guys. What I'm going to do is we'll do it at the end, and then we'll have time for questions and answers. So we'll go through all of this, and then I'll do the poll, because I've lost my mouse. Right. So thank you, Dominica, though. Okay, so resolutions is essentially goal setting, right? It's a vehicle for us to achieve what we want. Okay, so it's, if I want a specific goal, this is going to enable me, this gets my willpower up, it's the momentum wave, and it enables me to then achieve what I want. By sitting down and reflecting, it will give me clarity on what it is that I want, what it is that is important to me. It may, again, help me with purpose. It may mean that I'm doing something with meaning. It makes me feel good. It enables progress. So, for first time for Marie-Hélène to make resolutions, and yes, it's taking care of herself. Baz is reading a book a month. So far going well. So, it's progress, it's accountability. Because fundamentally, when people talk about self-discipline, it sounds restrictive. It sounds, restrictive. But actually, if you think about it, what is self-discipline? It's the ability to engage in what it is that we know is good for us. So we are not shackled by needing to self-soothe with other things that are not necessarily good for us, right? So actually, if we are able to engage in self-discipline, self-care, whatever you want to call it, it's actually freedom. So resolutions in themselves, in my opinion, are great, because they make us sit down, reassess, refocus, okay? And a lot of us will engage in them. However, why don't they stick? So unlike Baz and Marie-Hélène, who are doing well, if I were to set my New Year's resolution of, I want to exercise 5 times a week or whatever it may be, and I don't, and like somebody said beforehand, I just, bad habits start to creep back, right? So then we often start to point the finger here. Oh, it's just because I'm lazy, or I don't have self-discipline, or, just life gets in the way. I'm too busy. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have a trainer. I don't have a personal chef. If I had this, it would be so much easier. It's too hard. Next year, or my birthday, or this or that, right? So the why don't they stick stays at a superficial level. We just kind of, and it's not uncommon for the same list to feature again and again and again. So now if we think about, okay, now let me really have a look. What is the actual reason that they are not sticking? Let's now, for those of you who are like, yeah, I want to start to think about my resolutions and I want to take a different look at them. How can I start to look at this different, right? And this actually is not only for your resolutions. This is for life in general. Learn about your neuroscience. Because the actual reason, in my opinion, they are not sticking is, one of the big ones is you are going against your neuroscience. You are trying to make calls when your phone is on airplane mode, right? So you are not leveraging your brain in the most effective way. So you're essentially setting yourself up for failure or for not succeeding. And depending on your way of thinking, you may then blame yourself or blame the outside. If you are unaware of the invisible forces at play, and when I'm talking invisible forces, I'm talking about your belief system. If you fundamentally believe that you are not a regular exerciser, or you are not worthy of prioritizing yourself, or you are not enough, then remember, if you have a belief about yourself, your brain seeks to confirm that belief. So for example, if I think that I can't meditate, for example, and my New Year's resolution is to meditate regularly. When my brain sees me meditating, it's like, but you're not a meditator. This doesn't make sense, right? It starts off to confirm, it needs to confirm that original belief. And if I don't believe that I can meditate and I'm actually doing it, my brain's like, no, this is contradictory. This doesn't sit right. So what is it? You're not a meditator. So all of this that you're doing is going to be short term, or then I'll be able to find excuses, or as soon as it's difficult, I'll let it go. So being aware of these core belief systems and tackling them is a big way to succeed. Lack of strategy, lack of clarity. And also, sometimes we don't want it. we say, oh yes, I really should. I had a patient last week and he wanted to stop smoking, and I said, but do you really, really want to? And he was like, no, I really don't, Safia. I actually enjoy it, and I just have to, because it's not a good thing. And I said, but first you need to want to. There has to be a willingness. And this is with stress management, with anything in life. There has to be an initial, you don't need to know how, but you need to want to, or there needs to be some willingness. Habits. So by setting resolutions, we are trying to create a new habit or get rid of an old, right? So when we look at habits, what are habits? So to me, it's the tiny little things that we do every day, the way we think, the way we feel, whatever it is. It's a neuronal pathway that is very well trodden. We've gone around and around. So it becomes automatic. By definition, repetitive. We've done it, we've thought it or felt it or not done it or done it again and again and again. Our habits, we think, are in our conscious mind, when in fact, they are in the subconscious. So when we try to use willpower, when we try to use the 10% consciousness, right, to make a habit stick, it's not going to have as much power as if we were to go deeper. So our conscious mind, this is where we are. I'm conversing with you. You're hearing my words. You can see I'm quite moving and all of this. I talk with my hands a lot. That's what you see. You can't see my belief system. You can't see my habits, my imagination, my intuition, my values, my attachment styles, any traumas. You can't see any of that. But all of those are running the show. So it's almost like you've got the front office, so the people who are talking to you, making the sales, but it's the back office that have done all the research. So similarly, our conscious mind represents the 10% that you can see, but it's my subconscious that actually runs these habits. And that's why, depending on what it is that you want, you need to go deeper for it to stick. If you're thinking, oh, it's Monday, I should start my diet, by lunchtime on Tuesday, you're at McDonald's again, because fundamentally your belief system is whatever it may be. So in order to start to think about what it is, what are my resolutions and why haven't they stuck, it's got very little to do with you. And certainly if you're kind of in the group that tends to self-blame and self-pity and self-loathe and negative thinking, it's not fair. It's not fair on you, and it's not correct. So use your brain. So any behavior that we may engage in that is followed by a satisfying consequence, the brain will say, oh, I like that, do it again. Do it again, and you know what? I will learn from it. I will take notes and learn from it. And by the way, before you did that thing that felt good, what did you do just before? And what did you do just before that? And what was my environment like? So all of a sudden, this behavior that led to a satisfying feeling has started a little connection, and little learning has gone on. So my brain is going to say, listen, I want to feel good. So can you do that thing again? Right? So can you have that bag of chips, or can you eat that chocolate bar, or whatever? Can you kind of think that gossip loop? Because that felt good in that split second, in that moment. So I repeat it again and again and again. And all of a sudden, this loop becomes so well rehearsed and so repeated that it doesn't require much energy for my brain. It's like The first day at your job, you commute, you're checking, am I at the right stop? Am I driving in the right direction, etc. The 100th time, you're not thinking about the way to work. It's become automatic. And I've said this so many times in the past. I will get in my car on a Sunday and end up in Notting Hill, and I'm supposed to be like somewhere else, because it's an automatic get in the car, put seatbelt on, and then you all of a sudden turn up at your office on a weekend. And it's like, oh gosh, you need to actually be intentional because it's become so automatic. Hi, it's Dr. Dabar, and I hope you are enjoying the webinar so far. They're always a lot of fun to prepare, and I try to research the evidence base to present it to you in an accessible, bite-sized manner so that you can leverage your neuroscience to overcome your challenges and experience more positive emotions in life. Now, the series itself tends to be oversubscribed, and so if you haven't been able to attend a live webinar, or if you didn't catch the replay, the good news is you can have on-demand, unlimited access to the whole series. For £5 a month, you will be able to access the whole series, which is a monthly webinar on various topics, and the schedule is down below. And you'll be able to digest this information in your own time and review it and watch it whenever you need. So if you're interested, do not hesitate. The link is down below, and I look forward to seeing you there.